Hey, folks, my guest today is Apurva Mankad. He founded in 2004 Web Express, which is a global transportation and logistics SaaS provider headquartered in Mumbai. The company serves over 100 leading supply chain companies and 10,000 users. It's a globally proven solution with deployment in 8 countries in Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. The company has 2 offerings: transportation as a service and Logic Cloud, a supply chain visibility management platform. It was founded by Apurva and as founder and CEO. Excited to jump into the story today. Apurva, are you ready to take us to the top?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So 2014 was sort of go date. Before we jump into your backstory and your history, help us understand, what are companies paying Web Express for today? What's the product?
Supply chain today has become a very crucial operation for every company post-COVID. And given the disruptions which are never ending today, there is a very key requirement for having a clear, visible supply chain across your network. Today, people are paying us for using our system, where we bring in large number of logistics partners onto a single platform and give them one single window by which they can look at any shipment as it moves across their supply chain, and gives them a prediction if it's going to fail and it's going to be late, and they can act on it before it's too late.
And is your transportation as a service offering and Logic Cloud, are they both SaaS, or is one like percent of GMV?
Both are SaaS. We do everything in SaaS, cloud-based, and software as a service is multi-tenanted. The world is multi-tenanted. You need to have everybody on the platform to make it happen. So it's naturally a SaaS software for all the work that we do.
Got it. Okay. So I assume you have a lot of different kinds of customers, but I'm going to force you into a tough question here, which is an average. What's the average customer paying you per year to use your technology?
Okay, so since we operate in the Indian market, our average customer typically pays us somewhere in the range of around $1,000 a month. That's a typical pay that we get from our customers today. On the higher side, it will go to $5,000 a month. On the lower side, it can go to as low as $500 a month.
Okay, got it. And so, someone that's paying you $1,000 per month, what are they getting for that? In other words, what do you upsell by? Is it number of shipments done, number of product features turned on? What are they getting for $1,000 a month?
So we link our growth with the growth of the customer. So we typically make them pay us per transaction. We do expect a certain minimum level of operation with us. And as they grow, and we have a couple of customers who are into literally millions of transactions every month, and they become a very high paying customer for us. And we hope that all our customers become much more successful as they grow.
And what is the average transaction size? Give us an idea of what that transaction is.
So typically, transaction is a shipment. Everything that you move from point A to B has a unique number, and we call it an arrivable number in our industry. And that's the unique shipment ID, as we call it. And that's the building block for our solution. Typically, we expect our customers to move anywhere between 10,000 to 25,000 odd transactions every month. To note, many of my customers are serving businesses. So while the transaction ID may be one, they may be moving 1,000 boxes behind every transaction.
I see. So when you say move 10 to 25,000 transactions per month, my audience can understand that as they're moving 10 to 25,000 shipments per month.
That's correct. Absolutely, you're right. When we work in some of the sectors like e-commerce, those number of shipments really shoot up, and they go to as much as 1.5 million transactions in a month.
And when you talk about transportation and where these transactions and shipments are happening, are we talking ground, freight, air, sea?
Well, the space in which we operate is essentially ground. And we have been focused on a lot of movement in large countries, large geographies like India, for example, is a very big country. And we focus on ground transportation operation. A small percentage does happen by railways, for example, railroads. Absolutely very small percentages by domestic air transportation.
Oh, what's going on there, YouTube? Good to see you guys. Now imagine this. You love watching these interviews with SaaS founders, but imagine if we took all of the valuation data out from over 2,807 interviews I've done manually. Saves you a lot of time. Well, we've done this. We've built it into the beautiful interface inside of FounderPath. Check this out. I'll show you how you can access this in a second, but you log in, you connect your Stripe account, you see your valuation real time, you can see what it changed over the past 88 days, and even set goals for valuation this year. Now, the secret to valuation is there's many different ways to value a SaaS business. So the reason you're going to see 3 or 4 different valuations inside of your FounderPath dashboard, this is all free, by the way, is because depending on who's doing the buying of your SaaS company, you're going to get a different valuation. A VC is going to pay a different valuation. Private equity firm is different. If you're going to do a minority sale, that's different. And if you sell the whole business, that's a different valuation. You can see all those when I hover over here. Right. So the teal is what a VC would pay, yellow is what private equity, and red is if you sold the whole thing outright. Now, what's cool about this is not built off random data. Again, you guys hear these interviews on YouTube. All these data are built from real-time valuation data points founders share with us on the show. So traction, 1.2 million, seed round, 3.7 raise, they sold 22% of their business. Go in here and filter by the event. Maybe you only want to see companies that have sold the whole business. Well, here are a bunch that have been acquired, the valuation and the multiple. Maybe you're going out right now and you're raising your seed round. Well, go in here and look at all this recent seed deals that went down, what they raised, what valuation they raised at, and what percent that they sold. There's never been a larger data set of SaaS valuations than what you can get now inside of FounderPath, and we're thrilled to bring it to you. All right, we're going to go back to the YouTube video here in a second, but if you want to check this tool out, if you want to jump in and sign up, you can check it out for free to get your valuation at this link, founderpath.com/products/valuations. Or if you go to founderpath.com and hover over products, click on get your valuation here and go ahead and sign up to give it a whirl. Again, all that valuation data live right inside the platform. I hope to see you there. All right, let's jump back into the interview. Okay, so what's the most popular route in India that you're serving right now in terms of shipments? What city to what city?
Okay, so Mumbai, where I'm from, and Delhi, which is India's capital, are the two. Probably it's one of the most used route in the world in terms of sheer number of shipments, and also in sheer number of people who move between them, the planes which fly between them. We come in top 10 in world rankings as far as this route is concerned.
Okay, so to fly, obviously from Mumbai to Delhi, it's about a 2.5 or about a 2 hour flight. But to drive,
Wow.
I think it's like a 26-hour drive, right? So what does it cost to ship one truckload from Delhi to Mumbai usually?
So it will typically cost around $1,500 if you're moving a 32 feet size vehicle from Mumbai to Delhi one way. That's a typical freight today, given current diesel prices. And
I
it will take you a bullet, very fast bike to drive in 26 hours. It actually takes more than 35 on road today. And that's for a car. And a vehicle might take longer because that will take brakes and it moves slower.
Yep. Okay, so let's break down the unit economics just on that trip, right? So it's $1,500 now. Is that what your customer pays you? And if so, what do you keep of the 1,500?
Now, the 1,500 is what the customer pays for the entire vehicle, right? They pay me for the trekking of that particular shipment or all the shipments which go inside a particular vehicle. And a big truck, like 32 feet long truck, can take thousands of shipments. We charge them for every shipment. Do note, everything does not move from point A to B. It will always load, offload, and then go to further to Delhi, for example, and it can go to all parts of the country. So we charge them for such shipments, and they can go by
Okay.
multiple vehicles, not just one.
So if I was going to pay Web Express to track one 32-foot truck moving my e-commerce goods from Mumbai to Delhi, about how much am I going to pay just for that one truck?
Or you're going to pay me per shipment, so you might end up paying me around about $15 to $30 is what you will pay me typically.
Okay, $15 to $30. Now I assume you obviously don't have customers paying you for one shipment. You sell in bulk, 15 to 10 to 25,000 transactions per month, right?
Absolutely. So what happens is this: for $15 to $30 will be broken down into multiple shipments. So per shipment they pay us, a very very small amount, typically rupees 5, which might just turn out to be, if I have to convert it to dollars, probably 0.05 cents.
It's 20. You said 5 rupees or 15?
5 1 was
Yeah,
0.
so
5.
7 cents, 7 US cents per shipment.
About, you can say, absolutely. Yeah. That's what they pay me for every shipment. So that's the economics. $1,500 what they pay for a vehicle. They pay me 7 cents for tracking it.
Interesting. Okay, now then what you were saying earlier is your average customer is paying you for 10 to 25,000 shipments per month. So we can take 10,000 shipments per month times 5 rupees or 0.07 cents dollars. That's where you get your $1,000 per month average customer value.
Absolutely. You are
Interesting.
right.
This is a great story. Okay, so now that we understand the economics, give us your backstory. When did you launch the business?
Well, I am from the background of working in the software and the technology industry. I got exposed to logistics early on through one of my customers, and I started working with them in 2004. And I launched my company in 2005. It's almost 17 years ago. Looks like eons ago. The initial days, we were consulting companies to bring technology to them. over time, we graduated to create an entire end-to-end solution for them, what is Web Express today. And then ultimately, we moved to a pure cloud-based offering. And last 2-3 years, it's all has been SaaS now. In fact, we pivoted to SaaS in 2017 to be more precise. Till then, we were offering them what we call as point-to-point on-premise kind of solutions. And India has been really accelerating in this area. So I think the journey in the last 5 years is much more faster than the previous 10 years.
And so then fast forward to today now, how many customers are you working with total?
Yeah, so we work with about 100 enterprise customers. When we say enterprise, which means each of these are companies, and they have probably anywhere from 5,000 to 8,000 employees working for them across their network. And we work with them mainly in Indian market, and we also have a very strong presence in Southeast Asia and Middle East. But India remains our home, and we serve maximum number of customers here in India.
And how many total shipments per month are you tracking for these 100 customers?
Yeah, so if I put together, we will be tracking today, latest we ran the number, including our e-commerce customers, we will be probably tracking about 5 million shipments for them.
Per month?
Per month, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, can I take 5 million times 5 rupees or 7 cents? That would put you at about $400,000 per month in revenue right now.
Well, it will be lovely. It worked out that way because the minute the customer goes on a higher slab, he squeezes you quite tight in terms of paying you. So he no longer pays you that 5 rupee, that 7 cent. He actually goes down to probably a cent or so.
I see. Okay. So can you give us? Is revenue today more like 200,000 a month, 100,000 a month, something like that?
That's correct. We are $1 million ARR company today. So we US dollars. So we pay about $1 million a year is what we earn today in India, and we hope to become hopefully 2x of that this year.
That's very exciting. Okay, so you're doing about $83,000 per month in revenue, or $1 million run rate today, which is great. So we can understand growth. Where were you exactly a year ago in terms of monthly revenue? Do you remember?
We were about 35% less. So last year we grew by about 35%.
Okay, so call it like 57,000 a month in revenue. About a year ago, you've grown to 83,000 a month. And Apurva, where is that growth coming from? Is it coming from expanding existing customers or adding new customers completely?
Adding a lot of new customers, because post-pandemic, anybody who was not yet digitized is saying, I'm out of the game. And the end customers are insisting that unless you don't give me tracking solutions, visibility, and many such things, I'm not going to give you a tick mark where I even put you into contention for giving you business. So that is driving a lot of people to adopt. Even smallest of companies are adopting. So we increased our customer base by 50% last year. But they will pay me over the next 2 years of time. So that's why our growth was 35%. But we see that now that we have come out of pandemic completely in India, we are growing very fast. And despite the rise in fuel prices, looks like that 22 and 23 is going to be a very exciting year for all of us.
And how many folks are on the team, your team today?
We are about 70 people, 70.
70 people. Okay, that's amazing. So it's fascinating. So 70 people and $1 million in revenue. Are you able to pay them out of your revenue, or have you raised a bunch of capital to fund their salaries?
Okay, we pay them salaries, obviously, and we do raise capital at times. We do also raise some debt funds to pay them, but obviously most of our payment comes from our customers' revenue. So we are a profitable company, and we've been able to make positive profit after tax for many years.
Yeah, for context there, though, if you're doing $83,000 a month in revenue and paying 70 customers, assuming all of your revenue went to salaries, you're able to pay a maximum of about $1,200 per employee per month. So these are very, well, at least comparing to the US, these are very low salaries.
I'm sure by now you are absolutely wondering how the country like India works on such amounts, 7 cents, 1 cent, $1,200 of salary. How you wish the employee people from USA could hire from India, right? And that's why we have one of the biggest outsourcing industries in this world. So you are right. That's what we pay approximately. Of course, there are people who get paid much higher, and people who get even paid lesser than that. But that's the average per capita income of India, by the way, is $3,000 a year. Just for your information.
Wow. Okay. So you're well above average. So I guess take me back to how you funded the business. You mentioned debt. You mentioned equity. When was the first equity that you raised, and how much did you raise?
So we raised about $200,000 in 2016. We raised the first round at that point of time. But very recently, we have almost signed up for the next round, and that should be in the range of about $1.2 million is what we should be raising very soon.
1.2 million in debt or another VC firm?
In equity, VC fund.
Okay, got it. So you've only raised 200,000 to date. You're raising another 1.2 million right now.
Absolutely.
Oh, wait. So I thought you said you raised debt. Did you not raise debt?
We are about to raise that, so almost kind of done. 200,000 is what we raised in 2016, is what I told you, and we are about to raise this year, 2022, around $1.2 million
In equity or debt?
in equity.
So I thought you said you raised debt as well. That's what I'm trying to understand. What debt?
We use some amount of working capital, if we call it debt. So we use bank lines to fund a gap between what customers pay us and what we need to pay our salaries in time. So there is always a trade gap, as we call it, and that's funded typically through working capital funding, as we call it, or bank funding, as we call it. So we leverage our equity in our balance sheet to get some capital from banks to use it on a temporary basis.
And Apurva, back in 2016, when you raised $200,000, most people, when they're raising sort of pre-seed rounds, they're doing it on a convertible note at a $5 million valuation cap. Is that what you did?
Our valuation at that point of time was around $1 million at that point of time, $1 million. Yeah.
And what valuation do you hope to raise this new $1.2 million at?
So we have finalized this at around 30 CR. That's around $4 million.
Okay, so does that valuation feel fair to you? $4 million, is that pre-money or post-money?
4 million is post-money.
Post-money. So you're basically at 2.8 million valuation pre-money, raising 1.2, so 4 million post. So you're selling about 25% of the business, right?
You can say that. You absolutely calculated correctly.
Mm-hmm. Well, why? I guess, who are you raising from? Is it a company? Is it a VC in India or overseas? And why do you think they're only giving you sort of a 3x, 4x valuation?
One of the reasons is that our focus market has been India, and we are a company focused on SaaS revenue. And as you just saw the numbers, the Indian numbers are not very large if you count in dollar terms. So obviously, if you're selling into a rupee market, the valuations become lower than you're selling, let's say, in a US market, for example, where obviously a dollar will fetch you much more. That's one reason. Secondly, this funds that we are raising is much more from a strategic partner right now, who also happens to be one of our customers, and in fact the investor into our customers is raising the funds into us.
I see. That makes a lot of sense. Well, we're rooting for you, though. In the meantime, let's wrap up with the famous five. Number one, what's your favorite business book?
My favorite business book, Mark McCormack's book on how to sell. I think it was the earlier book which I read, and I still remember that well.
Number two, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
I do follow Satya Nadella. I really like his journey.
Number three, what's your favorite online tool for billing WebExpress?
For promoting WebExpress?
For building WebExpress.
We are using mainly Ionic as the tool now to build it.
Number four, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
8 hours.
8 hours. And what's your situation? Are you married, single, kids?
I'm married. I've got 2 children, and still I sleep for 8 hours.
That's amazing. How many kids?
2 kids, 2 daughters.
2 kids. Okay. And Apurva, how old are you?
I'm 48 years old now.
Last question. What is something you wish you knew when you were 20 years old?
I wish I read your book at that time it was published.
Guys, there you have it. WebExpress.in, very interesting company. It's called a logistics company in India. To give you a sense of what they're doing, a trip for an e-commerce brand to ship goods from Mumbai to Delhi will cost them about $1,500. They're paying WebExpress about 7 cents to track that shipment. WebExpress tracked almost 5 million shipments last month. They just passed $1 million run rate, up about 30% year over year, raising $1.2 million right now at a $4 million post money from a strategic partner, 70 on the team today as they look to scale. Apurva, thanks for taking us to the top.
Absolutely. Good to talk to you, Nathan.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.